hearing, at least a hearing of the subject definitely helps you to understand the concepts better instead of reading on your own. So just by understanding and listening to the class once, definitely it will give some sort of enlightenment to the subject, and thereby you will be able to understand the subject well. Right. Okay. In the previous class, yesterday's class, we have discussed about the nature and scope of the human resources management. What are the functions of human resources management? What are the managerial functions of the human resources management? What are the operative functions of human resources management? What are the various activities that are concerned with the human resources management? All these aspects that put together, that is coming under the lesson number 1, and that particular lesson number 1, in that I have clearly explained the various important questions also, so that it will be helpful to you for understanding all these aspects. And once again, I simply tell you that whenever there is required, whenever any complex words are there, that I will type in the chat box. So open the chat box also. Then open the chat box also, so that you can clearly note down the important points, whatever I type on the in the chat box, right? So when we are talking about the next content, next syllabus, actually, as I told you in the previous class, actually this human resources management subject is basically having the 5 units, 5 blocks in your 5 blocks. Just 1 second. Each block is consisting of various number of lessons. That total put together 19 lessons are there. Out of the 19 lessons, we are expected to cover up 50% of the portion, that is online. That is 50% of the portion on the online, as per the directions given by the university authorities. In the 8 classes that is going to happen in the various days, that all the 8 classes we have to cover up the 50% of the portion, and the remaining 50% of the subject will be covered in the offline classes, as it is directed by the university authorities, right? So when we are talking about the unit number 1 yesterday, I have clearly explained you what is the human resources management, an overview I have started. In that is block 1. In the block 1, total 5 lessons are there. The second, block 2, employment of human resources. In that, 3 lessons are there. In the block 3, human resources development, total 5 lessons are 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 lessons are there. In the block 4, compensation management, 13, 14, 15, that is 3 lessons are there. And in block number 5, it is 4 lessons. Why I have told this particular number? There is a reason, right? Okay. Once again, I request, am I visible to you clearly? Am I visible? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right. Audibility? Clear?
Clear.
My voice is clear, Amma?
Clear, sir.
Right. Okay. So I am spotlighting for everyone. I hope now my face is clearly visible to all of you, right? When we are talking about this particular syllabus structure, as and when the syllabus is covering about 5 units, it is well-known fact that every question paper will have an equal weightage for all the 5 chapters. Then, so if we select the important topics first, and then we can cover up the remaining lessons later. In this particular course of action, yesterday we have discussed about the human resources management and nature scope, as I already discussed in this one. There is one important point you have to understand is that the material which is supplied to you once the lesson, then you will have a clear understanding about the particular lesson, and so that you will be able to make up the notes also, right? So let us proceed to the in this class, because there is a long gap from today's class to next class. So today we will complete about organizational design and personal policy and development of HRM in India and abroad, contemporary issues in human resources management, strategic human resources management. These are the total 5 lessons. So in this case of the second unit, unit number 2, write down heading, unit number 2. That is the same block, unit number 2. Unit number 2, organizational design and personal policies. Organizational design and personal policies. Organizational design and personal policy. Organizational design and personal policy. So meaning of organization, first of all, meaning of organization. Meaning of organization. It is a system of, just note down one line, then we will proceed further. It is a system of personal, it is a system of personal and other personal and other resources which facilitates achieving the organizational objective, which facilitates the achieving the organizational objective. Okay, let us understand about what is the basic meaning of organization. So as we have understood that it is a system of personal and other related resources. What are the resources, other resources? Money, time, and all other resources which are put together, the efficiency, skill of the human being, and so on and so forth. All these skills put together are integrated with the human being, and as a result of that, we will try to achieve the organizational activities, organizational final objective. So what is our final objective? Assigning the profits, or achieving the profits, or any sales maximization objective, so on and so forth. Whatever the firm's objective, that will be taken care of in this one. So what is the second definition is there? In the case of that one, that only one line you take up, then we will proceed. Social and technological devices. Social and technological devices. Social and technological devices made up of people, made up of people and physical factors. Made up of people and physical factors. Right. So to this one, this is the aid with the technology implementation. This definition comprises of technological implementation, people and executive functions. What are the tasks that are to be led out, and the accomplishment of rationality is determined in this particular objective. So in this particular definition of organization and organizational design, what we have understood is that it includes technological device. Actually, organization is a technological device which is made up of people. That means people means human resources and various other physical facilities. What are various other physical facilities? What all we use for the purpose of running the business successfully? We use infrastructure, we use capital, we use machines, and so on and so forth. All these physical facilities put together, they are used by the human resources, and definitely that helps to achieve the business objective. Then that is the reason why it is called as organization. And generally, we talk about organization as in the organization theory and behavior I have given you. about organization is a group of people working together for the common objective. Organization is a group of people working together for the common objective. Okay. Working together for the common objective. What we understand here, organization means people must be there. They must work for one attainment of the objective. They must work together. There must be a coordinated effort. There must be a coordinated activity among all of them. Then only it is said to be organization. So organization. Then types of organization design. Write down. Types of organization design. Okay. In the case of types of organization design, basically two types are there. Classical organization design. Classical organization design. Classical organization design and neoclassical organization design. Neoclassical organization design. In the case of classical organization design, what normally we feel is that every organization is supported by division of labor. That means work is divided among the various people and their work is assigned to them in a more systematic way, and the main objective is to complete the task, and even human beings are treated as machines. That is why earlier days it is called as slavery, then it is called as bossism. All these things are earlier very high level. So that is in the case of the classical organization design structure. Always boss will insist, subordinate has to do. There is no freedom to the subordinate. Subordinates always say yes boss, that's all. Then in such a case, whatever boss say, that is 100% right. Then no subordinate is having a right to open their ideology, and they cannot make any sort of voice towards the work or work environment. So then later on, what happened in the case of classical organization design, there are various organizational theories what we have studied. That is bureaucratic organization theory, administrative theory, all that we have studied in our organization theory and behavior. But now it is not our subject matter. Actually, then we will go to the neoclassical organization structure. When we are talking about neoclassical organization structure, the design is given as that the people will work in a more cooperative environment, in a more cooperative way. So in the cooperative environment, they will work together by sharing the ideas, and always management will feel the workers as the asset, but not the boss and subordinate relationship. However, the boss and subordinate relationship is not there. Workers will feel happy and workers will feel free to express their opinion. As a result of that, they can express their opinions freely, and that leads to the motivation among the employees of the organization also. This is the most important factor. In the case of neoclassical theory, Elton Mayo and their associates, already I told on the time when I am going for the organization theory and behavior, Hathorne experiments, that is Elton Mayo and his associates, what they have suggested, all these points will come under the neoclassical theory of organization. So till now we have studied about this particular class already, so that what is the organization, what is organization aspect, and what is the organizational design, and how best organizational design can be classified, and what are the various sub-concepts in the organizational design and classical organization theory, neoclassical organization theory. Just give a look about the notes. Next, let us proceed to objectives of the organization. That is very simple. Let us proceed to organization structures later, and so that you can have understanding about that one. Objectives of organization. Write down. Objectives of organization. One, primary objectives. Primary objectives. Two, product and service objectives. Product and service objectives. Product and service objectives. Personal objectives. Yeah. Product and service. Personal objective. Community and social obligations. Community and social obligation. Community and social obligation. And then secondary objectives. Secondary objectives. Yeah. Who is, may I know the person who is representing as R? Hello? Hello? Who is this R, please? Name?
Yes, sir.
What is your full name, Mama? Hello?
Sir, Priyanka.
Okay, right. At least if at least a small name is there, then it will be better to note down the names of the persons so that we can have an idea about who are present on continuous basis and so on. Okay, right. So then functions of organization. Then what are the objectives that we have discussed about this one? Then organizational objectives. In that, basically, primary objectives are there. In the case of primary objectives of organization, this will come as a short question, not as I think it is not as an essay question at all. So it will come in the short notes questions. So what are the objectives of the organization? Why we are creating organization? So primarily we have objectives to create and distribute the product or a service. Create a product, distribute the product. That is one. So manufacture a product or deliver, render the products altogether. Second is satisfy the various objectives of the employees. So if an employee is not satisfied with the salary, to whom he has to approach? Immediately boss, that means organization. If the organization people are not not giving enough support to him, then automatically he will feel frustrated. Then to meet the community and social obligations altogether, that requires organizational benefits. And then product and service objectives. That means how much product that we are producing, how much we are making sales at this time, how much services we are able to provide to the customers. All this is related to the organizational setup. And personal objectives. An organization is comprised of basically two people. That is the people various often conflicting persons and also objective persons. So when every person will have his own simple interests, then what is every person's objective? Every person who is working for the organization, he will have his own objective, that is earning salary, earning morale, and earning that is name and fame and so on. So like that, which type of people are working for what, that is to be understood very clearly. Then community and social organization, social obligation. The society also expects various benefits from the organization. So a business unit, always it requires to provide various goods and services to the society along with other obligations. Therefore, the business objectives are also there. Appreciation is the social obligations. How better you are going for the social obligation. That will always consider the impact of the design of the organization. As a secondary objective, so economy's effectiveness always will be there, and economy always will go further as with the profit maximization, sales maximization, and so on. So employment generation, all these will come under the secondary objective aspects on this, right? Now, so these are the said to be basic objectives. Then let us proceed directly to the most important concept of this particular unit. Yeah, write down. Explain the various organizational structures. Explain various organizational structures. Organizational structure. First one. Basic organization structures. Basic organization structures. Basic organization structures. Under that one, A. Line organization. Line organization. Line and staff organization. Line and staff organization. Functional organization structure. Functional organization structure. These three will come under the basic organization structures, right? So let us understand these three. Then we will proceed for the second type of organization structures. In that, we will go by centralized form, non-centralized form, and so on. Okay. So first of all, how many classifications are there or how many designs are there? There are total 4 designs are there. That is first one, basic organization structure. In that 3 structures we are able to identify. The out of that, line organization structure is the most important one. Then line and staff organization. Then functional organization structure. So what is line organization structure? When for every rationality or for running of the business, if we depend more over the only the managers, that is called as line organization structure. So as and when only line authority, that is people who are sharing the authority only. That means a boss will say subordinate has to follow. That is from top level manager, say for example, general manager is the highest body, let us feel. Then from the general manager to deputy general manager, deputy general manager to managers, managers to deputy manager to supervisor. Like that, if we go in a downward trend, if the boss say and subordinates follow, and there is no other people to support that one, then line organization structures are basically to understand. Then it is only a top-down approach, and only the communication is passed from the highest level to the lowest level. But there is no question of any two-way communication process in this. Subordinates will not have the freedom to give any sort of opinions to the managers. All this will be the all these are the said to be the characteristics of the line organization structure. Okay. To be frank, I can tell you one point here. Okay, off the record actually I'm telling. Explain the various organization structures. If the question are there, then it is highly difficult for a student to go through or explain all the 4 models. All the 4 models. For each model, again 2-3 sub-components are there. Then it becomes a very lengthy question. So I sincerely suggest you to learn and understand any 4 or 5 structures of the organization. Out of that also, basic organization structure. That is the most important. Out of the basic organization, line and staff and functional. Then out of that, next is that on the basis of technology, on the basis of human centralization, decentralization. This will be easy for you to understand also. Then if you are able to explain any 4 or 5 organizational structure models and what are the characteristics, that will be enough for your answer for writing the examination point of view. But for learning, all the designs are important. Then we come to line and staff organization structure. When we are talking about line and staff organization structure, so all the functions which are performed by the line managers, they are supported by the staff people. Who are the staff people? Staff are basically the supporting people who will try to provide the suggestions to the line manager. The line manager will take decision basing on the subordinates or the lower level cadre people who are considered as staff. From them, they will take advice. And on the basis of the advices, the line managers will take the decision and they will implement. For every decision, the line manager, he himself is responsible, even though the suggestions are given by the staff. That is called as line and staff. Here, line means basic authority, staff means supporting people. So, all this advisory body that will come under the staff, and all the people who are in the authority to take up the decision, they will be considered as a line managers. These are the important aspects on this. Next, functional organization structure. When you call it as functional organization structure, when we call it as a functional organization structure, adaptation of functional designs, adaptation of functional policy, that is very, very essential. How the functional policy is to be taken. So how many functions are there actually in a business? So a functional relationship is established between the staff and the line, and it is directly related to bear that particular line function in the particular process. So in the case of functional organization structure, organization is subdivided into various sub-functions like marketing function, and then say marketing function, finance function, HR function, and so on. Then each functional department will have the line manager, and under them the staff managers will be there, and all the functional units, functional heads basically say, all the functional heads will give their opinions and for the achieving the organizational objective. In the functional organization structure, what is the and here is that the organization is subdivided into various sub-functions. For each function, separate line managers, and under them for the staff managers will be there on that. But in the case of this is a line functional organization structure. I hope you are clear, right? Then, are you able to follow the class now? Any doubts? Emma, are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Next, organizations based on, right, next classification. So we are talking about organizational design. Under the types of organizational designs, first one functional, we have discussed about the basic organizational design, that is 1 is over. Under that 3 we have taken. Then second classification, organization structures based on organization structures based on centralization of power. Centralization of power. Organizational structures based on centralization of power. Under that, 1. Centralized form of organization centralized form of organization. Second one, decentralized form of decentralized form of organization. Centralized form of organization, decentralized form of organization. Then under this one, let us go with that simple point. Then you can write this. This is also another important classification. As I told you, the first three basic classifications, that is line, and staff, functional, you can clearly elaborate. Then centralized form of organization, then decentralized form of organization. This will cover your maximum answer for the question. So, under the case of centralized organization system or central form of organization, this is also called a centralized system. So, in the case of centralized system, all the personal function is managed by a specialist. Even though we are talking about the as our subject is human resources management, we are talking about centralized only. That is centralized human resources management, centralized personal management. So in that, the personal function is totally managed by the expert, and who will take all the decisions. That is decisions relating to formalization. That is how best you are able to formalize the people. Then standardization. What should be the standards of the employees? Human resources planning. That is how many human resources, how much of human resources is required. Then recruitment. What is the policy of recruitment? Then salary, administration, training and development, appraisals. All these aspects are taken care of by one individual person or one team of persons, and then all the decisions put together are taken by the team, only few members, and all that few members will decide the entire course of action, and finally this will help to guide the policy of the entire organization from the point of view of the human resources. Then in this particular centralized organization system, in this process of centralized organization system, three important characteristics are given. One is experts in the field can be appointed to hold the position. This is there in your material book, page number 25. Page number 25. Experts in the field can be appointed to hold the positions. So, next, it is possible to have consistency in the policy and practice. If only one team is taking care of the entire policy decision, then it is possible to have a consistently one track of making the policy and practices. One expert serving multiple divisions can have the economies of scale. In the managerial economics, you have studied about economies of scale. So one expert only will serve the various departments, various organizations, various systems, so that the economies of scale will apply. So in the centralized form of organization, three important factors are there. A specialist will be appointed, and the specialist, as he is only taking the decision, there will be consistency in the policy and practicing. Then experts always will serve. Only one expert is serving to the various needs. Then always expenditure on the part of the organization that will come reduced, and which results into economies of scale. So these are the various important points what you have to understand and write in case of the formal centralized organization system. Then a chart is given in the page number 26. Out of the chart, you can top figure 2.4, figure 2.4, that if you are able to practice to some extent, at least not the entirely, that will fetch you a lot. So in that, managing director, director technical, director finance, director personal, director marketing, and so on. Under each one, again, manager personal, manager administration, manager HR, and all. Then under that, HRD, recruitment and training, grievance redressal, compensation, and so on. Even though you are not able to write all these, yeah, is it visible to some extent at least? Yes, Emma. Is it visible to at least some extent? Yes, sir. So in the entire table, if you are able to write the top two layers, that will help you to understand better, right? Then decentralized organization system, second one. Decentralized organization system. Under the decentralized system, each department is individual entity. Each department is individual entity. So marketing department will have its own individual entity, finance department will have its own individual entity, and personnel department will have own individual entity. That means each department will have their own staff, their own superior, their own boss, their own policy, and finally that will help to understand the organizational aspect. Then from that point of view, you have to understand. Sorry, so much of disturbance is there in today's. Third one. Hello. Third one. Organization structures. Suitable for technical industries. Organization structures suitable for technical industries. Under that first one. So under the, okay, let us proceed first and then we will proceed. So actually we have studied about basic structure, then centralized and decentralized, that is two classifications are over. Then we are in the third stage, we are understanding about organization structures suitable for technical oriented organizations. So in the case of technical oriented organization systems are highly technological industries. Nowadays, almost all, not technological, but almost all the organizations are following this type of factors one, where each individual, that point you understand, where each individual project or each individual activity is separated from the other activities. Each individual product is separated from that. So for example, say for example, consumer goods manufacturing industry, in that soaps division is there, powders division. So each division is separated. For that particular division, we will have a manager that is called a general manager. General manager soaps division, general manager powders, general manager shampoo, and so on and so forth. FMCG, normally we call it a fast moving consumer goods. Fast moving consumer goods. In this particular scenario, each project or each division, each project will have its own entity in the organizational system. So in this particular third stage, organization structures which are suitable for the highly technological oriented aspects, that is only considered here. So under that, what is the first one? First one, project organization. Project organization. Second one, matrix organization. That's it. Only 2 are enough. No problem. So organization structures which are suitable for the highly technological industries, in that you can write and summarize on internal structure of human resources development in India. That's not required. Leave it. Human resources policy, procedures. So let us proceed with that. Then we will have a sum up of the class now. So when you are talking about the project organization structure, under this one, a simple project will be considered as an event, and for that one general manager is appointed. Under the general manager, different projects will be there. Project A, project B, project C and all. For each project manager, again, various people will be working under. Let us say, for example, quality control. Second is research and development. That is contract and administration, scheduling. All these activities are calculated on the basis of that project only. Again, for manager project B, again quality control, again R&D, again contract and administration, again scheduling. Whereas under project manager A, engineering, manufacturing, purchasing. Under again project B, again engineering, manufacturing and purchasing. So you can refer to page number 27, which is the most important one. Actually, this is said to be the project. Yeah, this is said to be the project. Yeah, at least something clear. Right. So I hope you are able to see the lines. So first is top is general manager. Second layer, project A, manager project A, manager project B. Then under the lower level, all the 3 sections what I told you. And lastly, under 3 divisions again, engineering, manufacturing, and the sections will be there on that. So we are having a 3-layer structure under general manager, 2 project managers. Under that, second level, project managers will be taking care of about quality control manager, R&D, contract and administration, scheduling and so on. Under this 4, again another 4 will be engineering, manufacturing, purchasing and so on and so forth. Like this, the people will be serving this organization. So how this particular project organization is suitable? When the project is clearly specifiable, that is, as a starting point, there is an ending point. Then in such a case, that is said to be a project activity. When it is a strong source of authority is required to complete the project, then this type of project structure is very, very essential. Then at the time when the information and decision systems provide proper flow of information between the various levels of the authority, when the information flow is continuous basis, then this type of project management organization system always helps us. Effective project management basically establishes the effectiveness of information decision system. Suppose it's an information decision system. What is information decision system? In the organization, there will be a lot of information will be available. Out of the available information, you must be able to take the decision. But in the case of project management, only relevant and considered information only will be selected. Next. So what totally you can understand is that in the case of project organization, every organization is subdivided on the basis of the projects. Say project A, project B, project C. Each project is headed by one manager, general manager. Extremely sorry. All the projects are under one control of one general manager. Under the general manager, each project will have a separate manager. Manager project A, manager project B, manager project C, like that. And under the project manager, normally we call it team leads, they will be working. Under that, the different people will be working over. So under that, various levels are established. If you are able to write this type of analysis, that is most suitable for you, right? Next, coming to the matrix organization structure, write down. Already you have taken a heading. Under the matrix organization structure, it represents flexible approach flexible approach. Flexible approach to organization. Flexible approach to the organization, and it creates temporary project teams. Temporary project teams. Temporary project teams. Each functional department is created with a team. Of people. Is created with a team of people which created with a team of people with defined tasks. TASKS. That's it. So when we are talking about the matrix structure, in the 10th class you have studied about what is a matrix. Matrix will have rows, columns. So row 1, row 2, row 3, column 1, column 2, column 3. When we are talking about the column wise and row wise, different people will be assigned with the different tasks, and all the people will be put together as matrix, one group, and that group is entirely working for the one divisional head only. So that particular divisional head will advise all the people under the matrix, and all the people are responsible for the success or failure of the particular project. So actually this is also similar to the project matrix, project organization structure, but here authority responsibility relationships are considered primary. These are the various important aspects that we have to understand. Okay, so yeah, so as and when we are talking about this one, clearly you follow one question. Define organizational design. Define organizational design. What are the various? Define organizational design. What are the various structures of organizational design? What are the various structures of organizational design? Right. So when this question appears, so concentrate over the organizational design definition, then basic organizational designs, that is line structure, line staff structure, and functional structure of organization. Then try to make out the notes on the centralized organization system and decentralized organization system, which is easy to carry out for you. Then lastly, you go by the organization structures suitable for the technical institutions. That is what all the software people, they are now using this one only. So one project is headed by one team leader. Normally he will be considered as a manager. Then under them, team leads will be there. Under that, the various people will be working in the team. So technological industries. Then under that, project organization. Then matrix organization structure will be there for that. So these are the various points that you have to write down and understand in the case of the organization structure. Okay, just to refer to the notes once. Within 1 minute, I will be coming back to class now. Next, in this particular lesson, actually, I think organizational design, organizational structures, concepts are enough. No need to proceed further in this particular lesson. Then, note down one more important point here. Explain the need for the, explain the need, explain the need for the sound HR policies. Explain the need for the sound HR policies. HR policies. Actually, here the word sound HR policy means good HR policies. Actually, a strong HR policy. What is the need for that? So, or whatever the, write down the question, or what are the characteristics of, what are the characteristics of good HR policy? Good HR what are the characteristics of good HR policy? So it given page number 33, 32 and 33, page number. You can refer. That is additional question. Actually, you can go for that. Advantage of the policy, right? Let us proceed with that. This will be the end of this particular lesson also. What is the need for the good HR policy? A strong HR policy, how it will help the organization? And when a particular HR policy is said to be a good HR policy, okay, the experts can create various HR policies, but ultimately it is the people to understand about a HR policy. How many people can be able to understand the HR policy? A strong HR policy should be easy to understand. That is the first important point, right? First point, easy to understand. Easy to understand. That means every HR policy must be easily understandable by the people, or by the employees of the organization, by the external bodies, as well as by the management itself. Second one, fair and equitable. FAIR, fair and equitable. EQUITABLE. TABLE. Fair and equitable. So an organization policy must be fair. Human resources policy should not have any sort of bias. And all the entire human resources policy must be guided towards organizational objective. It should not favorism any one part of the organization or one part of the people of the organization. So it must be fair and equitable. Next, help in achieving, third point, should help in SHOU, should help in achieving organizational goals. Organizational goals. That's it. Very self-understanding. Every policy must help towards achieving the organizational goal or objective of the organization. Either it is a profit maximization objective, sales maximization objective, and so on and so forth. Next point. It should be in broader terms. It should be in broad terms. It should be in broad terms. Next, that is known to you, clear. Broader aspects are also only must be considered for the reframing the HR policy. So one point I want to express, what is the HR policy basically? HR policy basically tells us that how a particular activity relating to HR, that is human resources management, is carried out. Okay, I am telling HR policy, HR policy, HR policy. But if you are not having the understanding about what is a HR policy, then it will be a mess like you. So what is HR policy? For example, how to recruit people in the organization. That is a HR policy. What is the leave and compensation? Benefits that are to be given to the employees. That is the HR policy. How to appraise the performance of the employees. That is the HR policy. So like that, how to train the employees in the organization. That is the HR policy. That is on a one particular specific issue. If we are deciding the terms and conditions, then it is said to be a HR policy, right? Are you clear on this one? Are you clear? If you have any doubts, please welcome. Always. Any one of you, please. Are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please, I am sincerely telling you, patiently you are listening in the very evening time also. So if you have any doubts, or if you are from the examination point of view also, no problem in this. No problem in this. I know that your main objective is to write the examinations well, good score good marks and so on. So if you have any doubt regarding how this particular question is to be answered in the examination, or what are the important points that you can mention in the examination, like that you can ask the question. మీకు లాంగ్వేజ్ కూడా ఏం పర్టికులారిటీ లేదమ్మా, మీ ఇష్టం, మీరు తెలుగులో అడిగినా నేను చెప్పగలుగుతాను. నాకేం పర్టికులర్గా ఇంగ్లీష్లోనే మాట్లాడాలి, ఏదో తెలుగులో మాట్లాడకూడదు, ఇట్లాంటి రిస్ట్రిక్షన్స్ ఏం లేవు. మీరు ఏదైనా సరే ఫ్రీగా మాట్లాడండి, అడగండి, నాకు అవకాశం ఉన్నంత చెప్తా. రైట్? ఒక్క నిమిషం. Next, so achieving organizational goals, it will be broad term. Next one, it should be precise. It should be precise. P-R-E-C-I-S-E. Precise. It should be precise. Next, it should be on the long range. And it should be on the long range and flexible. Next, policy must be in writing. In writing. Policy must be in writing. Next point, based on facts only. Based on facts. That's it. Okay. So these are the various points that you have to mention in case of the when a HR policy is said to be a strong HR policy. How best you can decide the effectiveness of the HR policy, that is very clear on these particular grounds. Okay. If any policy that should have all these factors, it's said to be a good HR policy. Actually, I have dictated you nearly 9 to 10 policy facts, and out of that, if you are able to explain any 6 to 8, that will be good enough for you to score on this, right? This is the end of this particular lesson also. So in this particular class, we have first discussed about the organizational design. Then what are the various organizational objectives, organizational objective. Then what are the various objectives and what are the various organizational structures. In that, based on organization structure. There is basic organization structure, organizations based on the form of organizations, technological organizations, and so on. Then what a HR policy should be, or what are the characteristics of a HR policy. These are the three important points that we have discussed in the class. Out of this one, organization design and types of organization design is the most important aspect, right? Okay. These questions, as and when I am telling, you note down. That will help you to write the exam well. Any more doubts? Anything from your side? From each block, I will give you a selected lessons. So actually 3, 4, 5. That is the reason why I have given a pause. I will come back within 1 minute. I told you that. In that I have selected this another 2. That is 5th lesson. Let us go in the next class. Be prepared for that. That is strategic human resources management. In the next class, that is in the month of April 16th or so, then we will go with the strategic human resources management. Then we will go for block 2. Then we will select 2, 3 lessons, and then we will complete. Okay? Give a reading of this one. Bye. Any doubts from your side? Shall I close the class?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.